Welcome, everyone, to season 7. Happy New Year, episode 16 of Two Guys in Hockey Talks. My name is Pawel the Cat, and I've got Rowan. I've got Evan. I've got Evan glitching out. See, I'm glitching out. I'm glitching out.
So if you guys don't know, he may not be mentioning my name. He may be mentioning the person who will take this over, his son. Hey, Timo, how you doing, man? Great to see you here.
Welcome back. Evan, how was your holiday break, and how is your New Year so far? Because we are 7 days in.
Oh, man, it was a beautiful time. Lots of time with family. Lots and lots of hockey. I know a lot of you were kind of saying, oh, man, there's no NHL for a couple days. Not a big deal, man. There was so much hockey. Don't forget, you also have a lot of stuff going around on Flow Hockey, as well as you can grab some different stuff still around the NCAA and try to catch in Europe if you have any of the links out there around it. So, no, man, I'm excited to get down to business. Guys, hey, heads up. There is our QR code if you want to go to our website. So I'll throw it up on the stage while Pawel is getting out our info to people. I do not have my info to send out, Pawel. I'm behind the times here. So, but guys, Two Guys in Hockey Talk every Wednesday night. So make sure that you jump on 7 p.m. We're pretty consistent with this. We love you guys to be able to, essentially, we want you guys to be able to jump in, ask questions, make statements, give opinions, anything around that line. So the other part that I think is important for you to know is we got Facebook, we got YouTube, we got X, as my buddy here likes to call it, still Twitter. He's still stuck in the old, I may be older, but he's old school. All right, so our website, twoguysinhockeytalk.com. You can go over there, check out the articles. You can check out what's happening. We have a lot of work still to do to update. Please forgive us. We are a non-monetized show, and we do a lot of work all week long. So to keep up on the admin, if you think that, hey, these guys need to update their site, Pawel, I think that they should just sign up and send us an email to twoguyshockeytalk@gmail.com and tell us they might like to join the team.
100%.
All right, guys, let's just cover our sponsors here today, guys. So we got Flow Hockey. On top of Flow Hockey, that is the place for all your sports. So you can catch like 15 different games. You can go back, rewind. You can catch the Ontario Hockey League, the Quebec League. You can catch special elite schools, high schools. You can catch U15. There is so much hockey on Flow, and that doesn't even count the NCAA. There is like a ton. So guys, Flow Hockey, work with our sponsors over there. The Pro Hockey Group as well. We're hoping to have them on in about just around during the Olympic break, so that we will either have Jason Bakula, who used to be the lead director of scouting for the Florida Panthers. He will be on, and or someone else will be jumping on with them. So look at this. Yes, Timo, I use Flow Hockey for the Q. Otherwise, like it's pretty tough. I don't think that, Timo, you travel everywhere, so I don't think that without Flow Hockey, I don't think you want to travel to the Maritimes, because the prices for tickets are like double the price around there. So yeah, guys. So anyway, if we don't get Jason Bakula on, we might have one of the other co-owners, Puckpedia. So Hart Levine and Puckpedia, guys, great source. So you want you want to have fun with fantasy, anything around there, also go to Puckpedia. Penny Billionaires Invincible. That is our intro and our outro song. So thanks to them for all their work. Electronic hard rock band out of Phoenix, Arizona. We like to give a shout out to the Northern Michigan Warhounds. Howl yeah! And last of all, which is in the American Premier Hockey League. So it's a senior men's minor pro hockey league. Now, JR Web Designs, guys, that site that we just talked about, they have some of the most incredible prices. You will not beat the prices that they have, and they've been excellent for it. So just wanted to throw a shout out for everybody out there. That's a little bit longer than normal, but that's because Pawel does it, and he just goes, oh, hey, guys, there's our sponsors.
I do our best to promote our partners, and we appreciate it. So if you want to get involved, feel free to reach out. Again, that email is twoguysinhockeytalk@gmail.com. Evan, it's been a very, very busy few weeks since we've been on. From the big trades that we said with Jari and Quinn Hughes being moved over to, of course, the Olympic rosters being announced, the World Juniors ending with some pretty intense stories, some news around the AHL. So we're going to get all into it because we're going to get into it. But I wanted to first kind of allude. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to ask, will we be coming back? I want to come back at some point. Bring us back to, I want to talk about Quinn Hughes and some backlash from that trade at some point.
For sure. Yes, can get to that. And there's no easy way to kind of transition to this, but Hall of Famer Bob Pulford, who was a four-time Stanley Cup champion winner and an influential coach, played for coached LA and a few other teams, has passed away. So, he was a great guy. I was a little younger, so I didn't watch as much of him, but I did watch some of the highlight packages over the past few weeks, knowing that he's gone. Great guy of the game, loved by a lot of people. We wish his family our best. Any thoughts on Bob?
It's always tough when you have not just a legend, but a great person that leaves loved ones and friends behind. And it's a tough thing because it's the time of year and it's an easier time around the holidays to actually have a little more difficulty every year because it's a reminder when holidays come, this is the time of the passing. But great guy, did nothing but be supportive of the hockey community during his days. So hats off to him.
100%. And while we were off, I don't know if you got a chance to watch the Winter Classic with the Rangers coming out and really playing hard against the Florida Panthers. 3-1 game at the Lone Depot Park. It seems like the Rangers can't lose on away games. They seem to be dominant then. But really, I mean, your thoughts on the game so far on that Winter Classic, because it is for the fans that were there, because I think there was a low viewership for the game in itself.
Right. And so I no idea on the viewership. I tapped in. I actually felt bad for the fans in the park, because I had no problem how it was set up, the way it was made to look. I know there was no snow, so they made it look Florida-like and, exciting. They brought the Panthers in to be able to show off the Stanley Cup. Barkov special appearance. I thought that was – I have no problem. Calling it a Winter Classic kind of makes it weird, but it should have been a stadium series, but who cares? In the end, I think the fans enjoyed it. I actually was just over on X. I just heard a lot of fans that actually attended. The one thing that was the complaint, though, Pawel, and this is kind of what I heard too. Number one, they did not like the uniforms. So when I asked my wife, who isn't following anything, I first saw a tweet by someone that said, these uniforms make them look like clowns. Then I asked my wife, and I didn't show her. I just showed the picture and I said, what do you think? And she goes, that looks like a clown outfit. So, hey, I'm just saying, I'm not saying, but I think I did hear a lot of complaints about the way it looked. It was kind of, clowny.
So,
but the view, because close, there wasn't a lot of people. They didn't set something up close for a select group of maybe like 5,000, stadium stairs or something.
So it averaged, on average, from the stats that I'm looking at, 978,000 viewers on TNT and below 1 million on True TV. For the second straight year, it's been a decrease. Now, just to put in ballpark, the Rangers Sabres in 2018, so just a little over 6 years ago, that had 2.48 million viewers, right?
That was in Buffalo, right?
That was in Buffalo.
Yeah.
So
everyone loves Ralph Stadium, though, man. It's a beauty to look at.
Just going to shout out Austin. Austin, good to see you. Thank you. I appreciate. Zelstra like the mustard yellow pants. I mean, they can get creative and clever, but I think it's best to understand that it's not for TV. It's made for those fans in the stands.
Exactly.
And I think from what I heard, people rumbling on Twitter /X, as everyone likes to call it, is that people really enjoy themselves who attended, right? So that's the most important thing. And it sounds like today it was announced that the Utah Mammoth will host a Winter Classic against the Avalanche, which is going to be really
in Salt Lake City.
That's pretty cool. So, you get a team that's a little bit more northern, which you love to see. No disrespect to the Rangers or Panthers, but you want to get it in more northern climates. And I think I'm still hoping out for the day, Evan, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, having a Lake Louise game. Now, I know there's a lot of hurdles to go through, but if you can have
So
a
maybe
battle
tell
of
people about Lake Louise so they can understand compared to what happened. Where was the one that Colorado, the
Lake
Colorado
Tahoe, Lake
Lake
Tahoe.
Tahoe? Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
explain
but
to
it
people
warmed
about Lake
up,
Louise.
so there was a delay. I remember that one. It looked beautiful, but it just
I
it
like the
wasn't.
look.
It was doing what's it called? It was during COVID, so of course it was not allowed to have fans beyond the general people, media, and people who were involved in the game. It looked beautiful, but the ice melted due to the weather, inconsistency of the weather, and so really that's where it was. And
You
Zilstra,
know
yes,
what?
I do call it Twitter. I know a lot of people that call it Twitter.
Hey,
But
so you know what? I wonder if you went by. So, guys, if he didn't finish saying because he was still in the middle of stuff, and I cut him off. But Lake Louise is in the Rocky Mountains, and it would be west of Calgary, essentially. So it's the same idea, but it would actually be a lot colder to be able to go on right on. However, you know what I would like? It's the scenery behind it. It doesn't have to be on the lake. So even if right beside the lake, and then your cameras all face out to the lake,
yeah.
that I would be cool with the scenery like that because it's beautiful from above. But anyway, I digress. We've already 11 minutes in, and we've only got through 2 things, and we got about 25 to 30 things.
100%. But speaking of the Rangers, in the last little bit game here that they played, it sounds like Igor Shesterkin has been put on LTIR along with Adam Fox. So it also against the Mammoth, it looked kind of like a inconspicuous play, Evan, I would say. It didn't look like there was much contact between, I believe it was JJ Peterka and Igor, but he went down. He had to be carried off. It didn't look good. He's going to be out for a while. It didn't look good in general, so we're going to be monitoring it. But that's a big loss for the Rangers because he is a big part of their team, and he has to help them continue to push forward. Now they did bring up Spencer Martin, who was playing for the Hartford Wolfpack, and we formerly had the play-by-play analyst Alex Thomas, who does games down there. But him and Jonathan Griffith are going to take the reins, along with Adam Fox, who, for some surprise, was not announced to Team USA. Surprise. Very big surprise. Your thoughts on the Igor and Adam injury?
It's a tough break. There's a lot of people getting injured this year, just like we find every year in the timing. And, of course, it doesn't even help when you got Olympics upcoming and stuff. So, hey, Timo, thanks for reposting the stream. We appreciate it. We're definitely going to get you on the show one of these days. We'll come up with a plan. For those that don't know, Timu is Finnish, obviously, the name. And I'll explain more about him at another time here on our show, guys. But, yeah. So, hey, well, and Panthers head coach also brought a mention of Seth Jones, guys. So Seth Jones is right now, he did not get a broken collarbone. Everyone thought he had a broken collarbone. He's listed as week to week. So they're hoping he'll be back for the Olympic break. So that would be a kind of a tough blow for the, I was going to say Summer Olympics, but it's the Winter Olympics.
Yeah, it's coming up here in a little over or a little less than 4 weeks. So that should be exciting. Let's hope the arena's ready because I know that there's been some concern there, but the NHL is still going in to check that out. Yeah. And what I think is also interesting is that we saw Gabriel Landeskog also get injured again. It didn't look good. He had to be carried off the ice. Now, everyone knows that, he went through a lot to get back into the game, being off for as long as he was. They don't know how long he'll be, but most likely it will impact his Olympic capabilities, which is not good to see. However, if Colorado is going to continue their strong run and potentially go far in the postseason, they want their captain back. And I think his health is the priority, and I hope him the best. Although, of course, it's never easy to miss out on representing your country at the Olympics. So quick thoughts there.
Yep. No, again, all these guys going down. So it becomes a big issue for, not just the Olympics, but for their teams to make a real push. So what's Timo say?
Timo says these injuries are a lot from how many games they're played. Yeah, there's more games condensed due to the condensed schedule. Stats show this players are playing too much in too little time. I read that some teams are playing 20 games in 33 days. Yeah, and it's
Wow.
not gonna, what's it called? It's not gonna slow down. It's gonna keep going. So it's gonna be
Well,
interesting to see how the
and
remaining.
next year it increases to the 84 games.
Yeah.
Now, I know they might say, well, we're taking some preseason games, but we all know the preseason games, you never have a full lineup unless maybe the last game.
You never have veterans playing the first few games. Usually they come in later on, right? So that's how it often
What was this
assesses.
one? What did Zill say?
It says today's millennials and Gen Zs are not built for Gen X players. They get cold and take time off for upper body. I think it's load management. They're taking a lot from the NBA, which we get now. 2 different sports, 2 different styles of play, muscles that you use, but it definitely takes a wear and tear on your body. So
well, Timo, what do you think? Do you think load management is a thing? Right? You spent your life in hockey. Is it a thing? We'd like to see what you guys think. So,
and on that note, we're getting to Revs Top 15.
Revs Top 15.
Brought to you by the electronic hard rock band Penny Billionaires. Look for them wherever you find your music. Well, hey guys, the 2026 NHL draft class is heavy on forwards and defensemen, but it is quite light on elite centers. So before we go in today, I want everyone to be reminded that our Revs Top 15 is where we project their playing career, not what they are coming in, not where they are in 5 years, but what they will be. So it's going to take 10 to 20 years to be able to come back to. But I just seeing who I see as the best players in that draft year. And there's always new ones that will come along. So next, maybe during the Olympic break, we'll come back and reflect on some Revs Top 15 from even like 10, 15 years ago that we potentially had done on another show in another time. But guys, I do want to also explain that in late August, this ranking system you are seeing below, this ranking system happened early on. So I did it late August when I was pulling it together. It will be changed. So at the end of this month, I'm giving a little bit of time and I'll have the new midseason ranking up. But let me give you number 7. I have Tynan Lawrence. He is a center. Remember, there is not a lot of elite centers, and Tynan Lawrence is the top. He is the crown jewel center making the waves. So as we mentioned earlier, Jason Bacala over at Pro Scouting. So he actually has him at 1. He is moving up and moving up quick. Now, the guy, I want you to catch this. He is 17 years old. He is from the Maritimes. He's 6 feet, 185 pounds. And he has been last year and this year, he's been tearing up with the Musqueam Lumberjacks of the USHL. But he's shown all this elite playmaking, hockey IQ, some great two-way reliability. I know we hear that a lot, but like this season, he's got impressive numbers. And he was injured for a little while, just came back in his 3 games. He's got 7 points, 5 goals, guys, and a couple of assists. You say, why doesn't he have more assists? Well, because he's scoring all the goals. That's why. It's only 3 games, guys. Remember that. But so here's what's different. He helped them win the Clark Cup last year. They thought they were on a run. Something you got to catch is he drives play in all zones, but he's not flashy. So sometimes, scouts may not notice him that same way. But he's consistently impacting games. So, yes, he will be moving up in mine. Some people call him a young Adam Fantilli. I'm not so sure. I'd be interested in what some of the other scouts are saying when they come to comparisons. So, Elite Prospects has him at 7 in theirs. He's been number 4 in many of the aggregates, but the big one is Corey Pronin. He's also moved him up to number 1, ahead of guys like Gavin McKenna, who, by the way, he dropped to 4. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But anyway, big news. He's gone. He's not staying right now. He is moving on to university hockey. There is a limited time. So huge news. Lawrence is making a midseason jump. Now he's officially left the USHL midseason to head to the NCAA's Boston University Terriers. And that is effective immediately, essentially as of yesterday, because he was committed for next season, but he got accelerated due to the rules in the NCAA allowing mid-year additions. Pawel, I'm not big on that. I don't like the mid-year additions, but he will be playing older, stronger. Some people think this could propel him into the ranks, but as we saw with Gavin McKenna, it's a lot harder, and people got to remember NCAA has a lot of other star players that have moved in. It's not like any other year, very different. So I'm good. That is who I have at 7, but I just want to move quickly, tell you 2, and I'm going to wrap up the Revs Top 15. So I have Matthias Preston at number 8. This guy is a forward. He is a speed demon and there is some trade buzz going on right now. This guy is crazy good. He's from Penticton. Go figure. He's only 5'11", but he is weighing in around 180 pounds. But he just got traded from the Spokane Chiefs to the Vancouver Giants. Big deal. I don't know if you guys heard. Joe Aginla just got traded also to the Vancouver Giants. So they are trying to make a push. It was a blockbuster deal moving up, but I can see him. He will be the offensive engine over there. Now, let's move to my last one. I just want to make mention to everybody here. And that last one is number 9, because I gave number 10 a few weeks ago when I was at the game, and that was Daxton Rudolph. So was at 10. But number 9, Ryan Lynn. Right side defense. Guy got right side. He's an offensive defenseman. So Ryan Lynn is guys out of the coast. He's out in Richmond. He's 5'11", almost the same. And guess where he's playing? The Vancouver Giants. So got to watch the WHL. Go to Victory Plus if you want to. You can get all your free action there. But guys, that's it for my Revs Top 15.
Revs Top 15.
Brought to you by the electronic hard rock band Penny Billionaires. Look for them wherever you find your music.
That's some great insights. So thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate it. You guys can let us know if you agree with Evan's Rev Top 15. And before we jump over to a little bit more NHL news, we got a little bit of a response. So game management is a hot issue because of the fact that older generation believes that the young players are able to play what they did. A perfect example is with Nicholas Backstrom, the goalie, and I had completely different mentalities. He believes that players should try to play as many games and deal with injuries later, which I don't believe in. But maybe early players like Cromer, who I also very much dislike, do believe that managing how many games a player plays is like saying the NBA doing the same as the NHL, when even though I love Lauri Markkanen, you have to make the season longer if you want to play more games. Honestly, end the cup earlier in June and cut the preseason to 3 games. I agree. I know it's a discussion point quickly. The one thing is that sometimes, Evan, a lot of these prospects and young players who don't play in the regular season have an only opportunity during the preseason to play once or twice in the NHL. That's their breakout moment. So,
but they never used to. That was not a thing.
I agree. And I think it's, you got to figure out what you have. So
yeah, there's ways of doing the rookie tournaments, and maybe even one game in the NHL, right? Don't give everybody a shot. Just give the guys who need a shot. In fact, I think it's wrong for NHL fans to have to go to a game and pay for that game, and yet there's barely anyone NHL worthy, and some of the guys aren't even worth playing. Well, I mean, good on them, but they're not that level.
Yeah, they're usually at less cost than the regular NHL season games. But anyways, you guys can let me know your thoughts. It's some good food for discussion. Now, speaking of some NHL teams, Islanders dominated with a record shutout against the New Jersey Devils. Now, no changes so far with the Devils, but they got shut out 9-0, the first time in their history. Ilya Sorokin sets a franchise record. Anthony Duclair, who, remember, took a personal leave of absence last season, had a hat trick and a 5-point night. Evan, Islanders firing on all cylinders, but New Jersey, what's going on? That is bad by Jacob Markstrom, who was kept in there by Sheldon Keefe. Not much was changed.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? So Jersey has some issues going on right now. You know that because
what extended Markstrom after extending Allen.
Yeah. So I'm going to come back now. Quinn Hughes. There was a player that was asked to waive his no trade clause, his no waive clause or no movement clause. So there was a player that was asked to. We don't have the exact player. I don't have that exactly. I believe it was Nico Hischier. That was the play. Now I don't know that for sure, so don't go. That's my speculation. Just trying to demise from what we're hearing from behind the scenes from a few out in that area. But there was 1 or 2 players, and right now, people are saying, well, it's a professional game and stuff like that. But I get it, but they were so desperate to do it, and he didn't want to make that decision. But when you go to players and you ask them, it does cause that. That's some of the issues that we dealt with other places.
I agree. And Zilster says, "Oh, wow, I definitely need to make a trip to Langley and watch the Giants game, and that the Hughes brothers are moving to the Wild." I mean, you saw the pressure that Luke Hughes had on him after he scored on his own net. He's a young 22-year-old defenseman, and the last thing fans should do. And Ray, who's a big New Jersey guy, and he can chime in if he's tuning in. You don't want to get rid of that. You don't want to get rid of a guy who's just coming into his prime. You just signed him. He's a great player. He's learning. There's going to be mistakes. There's going to be hiccups. Right. The fact that you want to get rid of him and bring in an older guy, it's not going to work out for you. You want to fix the problem from within. So keep an eye out for that. But I'm sure Bill Guerin, who is very bold with trades, will take a chance on Luke Hughes. Go ahead.
So Timu just commented. Go ahead and pull it up.
Also, Hughes wasn't the game plan. It was Nemec, and they wouldn't budge.
Yeah, I heard that. I knew they wouldn't budge, so I didn't know it was Nemec, though. Okay, that's interesting.
If you recall, we broke down the trade. You guys can go back on our YouTube and Facebook and X page and see it. But you heard Quinn Hughes' words after the trade. He believed that Guerin was willing to part ways with Z Bouillon amongst some others, because he believed in Quinn Hughes, and it has helped the Minnesota Wild. They have been on.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It just doesn't help that they're in the same division with Dallas and Colorado. So it just goes to show you, like, it's the
we better get off the Hughes thing. Otherwise, the next thing you know, we're going to come up with Makar in a moment, and Timu is going to be all over this. Alex fans can't stand him talking about Cale Makar and some of the underlying numbers.
Well, speaking of the former team for Quinn Hughes, there's been rumors about Kiefer Sherwood with Canucks. Now, he's on pace for a career 33 to 35 goals. He's physical. He's gritty. He's the perfect player for a deep playoff run. And it sounds like there is some interest, and it sounds like Elliot Friedman reported that he may potentially be there was an offer potentially floated with his camp. Your thoughts on him potentially being moved, given that in the next few weeks there's going to be a roster freeze again, a trade freeze, given the Olympics?
Yeah, well, and I think it's actually going to be in the next week or two if he's going before the roster freeze here. So we're looking at now. Here's the thing: if they had made a move earlier or even tried to push it earlier, his value was much higher, even though he wouldn't hold those numbers that he was holding. So there's been some regression as far as production. His game is his game. I mean, he's a great guy to come in. But, guys, if he's playing in your top six, that's not good.
I agree with him. And I think, if you're going to give up a first, which is what Vancouver would like, and again, maybe they want to keep him because you do need bodies. I think you got to make sure you know what you're paying for, because he is a little bit older. He's got some wear and tear on his body, and you want to make sure that you have him for a long time and he continues to perform, because this could just be a career year, right? That happens as well. So
that's right.
We'll be interested to see what happens there. And speaking of a Pacific team within the division with the Canucks, the Oilers sounds like they're shopping Andrew Mangiapane. And it sounds like they've healthy scratched him in 2 games. It looks like it's time to end the relationship. He does have 1 more year after this. I believe the cap is 3.5, if I recall, around that number. And it looks like there's some interest, including the Anaheim Ducks, who are going through a bit of a slump right now. Your thoughts on Mangiapane?
Yeah, Mangiapane. And so it slipped out from Tom Gazzola, who used to be on our team. He's with the local podcast with Dustin Nielsen. He's done a lot of work around the hockey world and works in the media area. So he let it be known that his agent was given permission, and if they wanted to. So again, it's about him not playing the top 6, which was the plan, and they weren't happy with the production. They want to push it. I think the management of the games isn't because he's not good enough to play. I think that they want to be careful. They don't want him to get hurt so that they can make the move if something can happen. So I think it'll be something the same will happen within a month or 2. And by the way, I just see Timu. I just brought it up. Go ahead. So,
I know that he has said this for months, but I truly believe Dallas makes some moves before the trade deadline freeze. Yeah, and they have that cap room because Sagan is out for the season, I believe. So don't think it's something bug like an Alexei.
Yeah, that was a tough loss.
Yeah.
All right, what else do we got before we move?
There's rumors around Stamkos, although Nashville's been playing well as of late. So, does he want to move? I mean, it'd have to be the right fit, and I'm sure he'd want to go out on his terms. So I'm sure Barry Trotz is kind of make it,
Contender.
to go to a contender, along with Justin Falk, the veteran right shot D, plays a lot of big minutes for St. Louis. He's got 1 year left. I mean, they're retooling and open to retaining salary.
Yep.
I mean, of course, Vegas and Detroit are both open. Now, we know Detroit was interested in Hughes, and with Pietrangelo in Vegas, of course, they could always use it. And I'm just going to give one example, Evan, why this is important. You look at someone like Troy Stetcher, who moved out on waivers to Toronto from Edmonton. The reason being is because although Toronto was decimated on the back end, they've gotten Bend and Carlo back now, although Tanev is out again. He's been playing for them around 22 to 24 minutes a night. That's how valuable he was. He was playing 6-7 defensemen here at Edmonton, sometimes top 4 when necessary if injury eluded. But it goes to show you, sometimes you need a guy to come in and fill a spot. You need that roster spot to be filled. And when you have a veteran like that, when you have a Justin Falk, you can do that. So, and with 1 year, I can see him fetching potentially protected first, but I could see that going, although it'll be a price to pay for whatever team acquires him. So interested to see. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, and guys, so they're again, nothing is substantiated, but it's out there. We're just mentioning, just like Quinn Hughes went, just like the talk was out there. Where there's smoke, there's usually fire. They're still in discussions. There's not my they're not in discussions specifically. It's in a holding pattern with Alex Tuch out of Buffalo. I don't know. Maybe he's happy with how things are going. They've been winning again, but he's a pending UFA. Remember, but he has his own home. He is from the Buffalo area. But let's just say
all of a sudden 10 out of 11 wins. Like Columbus broke the streak, but all of a sudden they're rolling after hiring Kevin Adams.
So Alex Tuch does not happen without a sign and trade. That's what I think. If they're going to move,
I
it's
agree.
going to have to be a sign and trade.
And before we wrap up, I know Anthony Mantha is somebody that could potentially be a rental. I'm going to say this here. I've heard rumblings from my sources that it looks like Edmonton is trying to extend Jack Roslovic. Now, what that's going to look like, I don't know, but they believe it's a good fit and they want to keep him. And I know that there's pressure from up top from Bowman to get that done at some point. Now, this could be an off-season deal, but just so you know, this is happening. So you heard it here first at Two Guys. And on that, we're going to get into Rant of the Night.
Puckpedia brings you
Rant of the Night.
Calling all hockey fans, stay on top of your game with Puckpedia. It's the ultimate source for NHL salary cap information. All right, guys, Blackhawk fans, listen. There was a poll done with over 200 people that were voting, 2,000 people that voted, and they were asked who should they take number 1 overall if they win the draft lottery in the upcoming 2026 draft. Now, I get it. It was a good World Juniors. 1,300 Chicago, well, at least I think they were Blackhawk fans. 1,300 said they'll take Ivor Stenberg. 1,300 of 2,000. I mean, the fans are tough on prospect Gavin McKenna, complaining he is not a generational player. Listen, they expected to see numbers like Bedard, even though Bedard had he's the all-time greatest World Junior performer, point production-wise, in what he did. Listen, apparently as an eligible draft pick in an upcoming season, I want you to see what Gavin McKenna did. He outperformed Crosby. He outperformed Ovechkin, Matthews, Celebrini, Barkov, Kane. He produced more than McDavid did at the same time. Yes, he's about 6 months older, but guys, don't tell me that's a difference when he's 6'1" and 167 pounds. That guy, remember we talked about scouts. When they're looking amateur scouts, they like to see a lot more for development. When a player is already a certain size, you don't know they're going to be able to keep moving. When he adds 20 pounds on, that's going to make a difference. So listen, the other thing that I notice is the deployment. And I'm telling you, he has been changing his game to play a different per his NCAA growth. So Guy Godowski plays a different system. He plays an NHL structured system. He doesn't play the same system as most of your NCAA places. To say he didn't show up in big games, that's the other thing. Listen, there were players who were older and they were already drafted. Hey, Hage, You missed 2 penalty shots. That's a big game, but yet he's the best that there was. How about Jack Ivankovic? Listen, guys, Jack Ivankovic let in some bad goals. The biggest game. What happened to Tisha Ginla in the biggest game? What happened to Porter Martone? Listen, I love all those players. They're great players, and I'm looking forward to seeing them in the NHL. But listen, this makes no sense. You guys, you drive me crazy. That's my rant of the night.
Puckpedia brings you
Rant of the Night.
calling all hockey fans. Stay on top of your game with Puckpedia. It's the ultimate source for NHL salary cap information.
Excellent rant. You guys can let us know what your thoughts are. Zilstra says, great rant, .. I don't know if that means sarcasm or anything else. I will say one thing just to add to your thoughts. You look at players like Jesse Puljujärvi, who had an incredible World Juniors for Team Finland years ago. I think it was 2016. He had 5 goals and 12 assists in 7 games. So, of course, wow, look at this kid. He's going to be great. And yet he's had a hard time breaking into the NHL. He's had okay years, right? I liked him as a player, but I think he hasn't performed up to the expectation. But then you have players like Joe Pavelski. We all know the great Joe, right? He represented Team USA in 2004, 2005. He wasn't a scoring leader. The guy went up to be a captain of the San Jose Sharks, has been a Stanley Cup finalist, 500-plus goal scorers, right? But it's his work ethic and his hockey IQ that helped him succeed, because you got to keep working at it. And like you talk about your Revs Top 15, it's the end. How do you continue your career trajectory? How do you continue to make the most of it?
Yeah. Coming back on Jesse Puljujärvi. I'm sorry.
Ivankovic for Canada was greater than Gretzky on the Oilers. Gretzky. Don't ever mention that name again. Is he talking about Jesse, or I don't know which name you're referring to? I apologize.
So, hey, one thing about Puljujärvi, let's just remember, we were talking about, like, when scouts are looking, they like to see an ability, like, to grow taller, to get more height, to get stronger, that they're not like a massive big machine like Eric Lindros was. Very seldom, a lot of times they take a drop. So that's something that's kind of been common from many of the amateur scouts when they're looking. So, yeah, so Jesse, so one of the things with him is look at his size, though. Yeah. So to be able to dominate. Now, Timu, you can tell me different if you see it different, but when you're big and you're tough and you're in there, and he was great at using his butt. I know they taught him more with the Edmonton Oilers, but I mean, him and Laine, that was like insane. And I think they still won the bronze medal. Canada, slow down. Like, what do you think, you have a right to the gold medal every year? They lost one game. I bet you if they had a do-over, it wouldn't be there. This is the best of. I feel sorry for Canadians if they lose one game in the Olympics. Oh my gosh. Well, I guess that was the second rant.
No, that's fair. And just quickly, we mentioned defensemen because we've talked about them earlier with Twin Hughes. Well, the 2019 drop draft lottery, Cale Makar, nobody expected him to be as good as he did. He dropped to the 4th, which I'm sure the first 3 teams are kicking themselves for not grabbing him, and missed out on Jack Hughes, but they got Cale Makar. So who would you take, Evan, if you're redrafting as of this moment? Because we're 7 years into it. What does that look like to you?
Obviously, taking Makar, man. Like I said, I'm not big on. A lot of his defensive errors are hidden. The places that they play him, the zone starts, some stuff like that. But I mean, his offense is it's incredible, obviously, right? So I'm going to take Makar. Jack Hughes is also hurt. I like to have seen what Jack Hughes' career could have been if he didn't have so many injuries every year. Who knows if he had been next level? But Makar just produced so much. Yeah.
Oh, but
I don't like to say that because I'm not a big fan.
Draft. Wasn't he taken in the 2017 draft, not the 2019?
Oh, did we get that wrong? Okay.
Sorry, 2017.
Just a year.
2019 was Hughes, Kakko, Kaprizov was not Kaprizov. He was in that draft, but he was later on. Lafreniere was in that draft.
It doesn't matter what draft, it was still the same.
Caulfield, Trevor Zegras, Dahl.
Hey, man, we don't get all of our facts right. We have like a million things to cover in 1 hour.
0-3 in playoffs, and then sat on the couch eating his chips for one of those.
What did I say? If we start talking about Makar, Timo will pipe in.
As well as, So.
Well, come on, Timo. Niall Yakupov? Yakupov?
No,
No,
Yakupov. Now, you wanted
actually,
to
it's
talk about
Nile.
the offensive defenders.
It's not
who are
Nail, it's Nile, and it's
Nile
Yakupov.
Yakupov.
No, it's called Yakupov. That is the proper
I
enunciation, but
apologize.
everybody in Edmonton and the media decided to call it elsewise.
Okay. And let's talk about some offensive defenders that are prone to visible turnovers. Long and behold, you can look at Evan Bouchard. You can even look at now up-and-coming Zane Parekh in the World Juniors, which we'll get to a little bit later. But you see some of the highlights. They can put the puck in the net. They're exciting and electric offensively. But sometimes, like an Erik Karlsson, they make those defensive lapses. Go ahead.
So let's talk about this because offensive defenders are more prone to highly visible turnovers. But let's just call them slow leak mistakes. Small, you don't notice them because they're not highly visible. They are less visible defenders, but they don't face the same criticism, even though they have far more errors that happen consistently. Let's just look at the last game. Evan Bouchard made one mistake that I registered in this last game. However, Regula made several. Now, a few people didn't notice it, but he made like 7. Most offensive defenders drive the play 95 to 99% of the time. So, of course, you're going to notice 1 or 2. But like we've talked before, Draisaitl turns that over quite often. A lot of the superstars, I mean, McKinnon turns it over. Crosby's one of probably the few that I don't see turn over often.
Well, I mean, he's refined his game so well that,
he was like that. I felt like almost at the beginning, that guy coming in.
200-foot player, right? So he definitely gets quite a bit. But so you guys can let us know because it's interesting talk because there's more than just the eye test. There's the analytics and you see how players play. But here's the thing, though. You're going to have some gaps and you're going to have some quibbles when you're playing some of the best against the best, especially defensemen, because more likely you have the puck, which is why you're more likely to make a mistake, right? Exactly. Is what happens. But on that note, we're going to get into Around the Rink. All right, Evan, there's been quite a bit, and we're going to get to the World Juniors. So first off, congratulations to Team Sweden for winning, defeating Czechia 4-2 since 2012. Now Canada took the bronze, but I liked what I saw. And, of course, Canada played versus Finland. Both games were exciting. Everything was good. It's not much of a rant for me, but I was a little disappointed to see fewer people in the crowd than usual. Because I know Minnesota was expecting to have a bit more people attend. That could be for a myriad of reasons. But yeah, it was a great tournament. I enjoyed watching a lot of the games. Your thoughts? Did you catch any of the games? Did you like any highlights?
Yeah, no, I caught quite a bit in different portions. TSN is not a good streaming channel. They are not a partner. I don't want to be a partner with them. You can't even go in like Sportsnet and go watch halfway through. I can't even watch a game. So I'm like, I got to jump in halfway through I'm on a rant about TSN, but it's a lot of money to pay for your app, to streaming app. And then you have to wait for a live replay at another time. And then after that, you got to wait for it to be released on the games on demand. Come on, guys, smarten up. So anyway, frustrated me because there was a bunch I wanted to watch in its entirety. Wasn't able to. So I probably got about 1/3 that I actually would normally actually get in. So that was the downside that I faced. But, what did I like about it? Oh, okay. Sorry. Yes. Timo, Minnesota. It was empty. So Timo,
that location gets added to poor attendance. I think it's more than just that, but we are not a very political show, so we don't.
But you know what? So here's the thing. I can't they take the cameras and stay away? Hi, Kyle. Can't they stay away from the camera of the big views way up high and stuff like that?
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that.
I thought the TV could work around that. I don't think it should go back there. I don't think anyone expected that. And blaming Canadians for not crossing the border, like that was ridiculous. Come on, guys. That doesn't even make sense. It's like it's up to
hockey. Minnesota's the state of hockey.
Yeah. But let's face it though, you're never going to have a lot in like you're better to go. I still think we should go Europe, North America, and then let it go there. I'm okay that if it's every 4th year in Canada, and then it's the States every 4th year, and then Europe will split probably between 7 to 10 places or something over the years. But I don't like that the whole thing that Canada just gets it every 2nd year. I'm not actually okay with that.
I would agree with that. I am looking forward to it being in our backyard next year, so I think it'll be fun. It'll be fun to see. But it's interesting. And
so I see Timo says Bouchard got an assist from just past the McDavid. And he did McDavid if we saw that play. Yeah, we saw that play. That was he just needed a pass. But hey, he got him that pass though, Timo.
That's true. And I appreciate Cal tuning in, who has his own sports podcast. So go check it out on the Sports Empire Network. Now, I did want to get into quickly the Olympic rosters because they've been announced for the majority of the countries, including Switzerland, I believe, was announced today. So we're starting to get a sense of what's going to happen. It's going to be exciting here. But there's been some chatter online, Evan, because of some of the players that have been omitted, most notably Bedard and Bennett for Canada, Jason Robertson, Fox, and Caulfield for America for Team USA, Matthias Ekholm and Lindholm for Sweden, and of course Barkov, which we understand why. Any thoughts on any of those players being missed out? Because I think there was a big missed opportunity for
Jason Robertson. Like what's that? And Bill Guerin talks about he wants guys that can check and he get it like Robertson isn't like a bully. But I mean, I can't see any. He's not Cole Caulfield, who is
the Olympics. That's not how you play the game.
Well, that's how they're playing because they're playing a counter. And what I'm noticing is they're not playing for double IHF right now. Both Canada and the States. See, the last Olympics that Canada was at, they actually went with the most skill and made them adapt. Because if you're the best in the world, you should be able to adapt, right? So I actually think that that. In this case, still the offensive skill is what's going to benefit Canada, even with bad goaltending. And if they keep Logan Thompson, I think they're okay.
Okay, and Zylstra predicts that neither U.S. or Canada will be in the gold game. That would be a big upheaval if that.
Neither. Like so,
I think one of them will be in it.
Well, now Czechia is good for junior, and they're coming along, but I can't see Czechia being able to be there. So you would be saying then, Zil, that it's Finland versus Sweden.
So I see Sweden being a dark horse. I can see Sweden going to the finals just because they have a really good team. Right? Like I really
well balanced. Yeah, good goaltending.
That's the one thing. Now I understand Ekholm's not going. I think it's better for Edmonton fans. I was surprised Cole Caulfield because I had been beating the drum since earlier in the season for him to be on it, just because he's able to score. And he's skating. He can skate, right?
Do you remember the Four Nations, right? With the gold game, the championship. Yeah. What was the U.S. not able to do?
Score. Well, but they also sat Kyle Connor, which was a surprise, right? Like that was another thing. So, and then Line is injured, but he should be. Robertson in for Trocheck. I agree, but Trocheck
oh my gosh, that was the biggest mistake. That and Cirelli.
Miller, but Miller's going to be like assistant captain. Like that's how much he brings it, elevates his game for those moments. Yeah. And Scheifele should have been there, like Bedard, literally for anyone. Same with Chychrun for Parayko. I agree. Yeah. I think, and here's the thing. The only reason I say this, Evan, is because you look at that. I think it was the 2014 team. Was it Sochi or 2010 when we went? You had young players go then. And what's the future going to be? Beyond Connor McDavid in the next 4 years, you need Bedard to be there. You need him to get that experience. And I love Celebrini. We've praised him. But what merit did Celebrini have over Bedard this year? Bedard has had 1 extra year in the league. He's failed out. He knows how to play. So what difference would Celebrini and having Bedard there? Now, it sounds like Bennett has been asked to be a backup in case there's an injury. That was a mind-boggling one, too, because he's the one that tied it at Four Nations. He's a Conn Smythe winner from last season's playoffs. I mean, the guy does everything. So I don't know what Doug Armstrong is thinking.
So, hey, I just want to put this out there. So Timo, you said Sweden will exit first round to Finland and Granlund will score an overtime goal for that. There you go.
Yeah,
So
I agree. They should both be up
It should be
taking,
him.
just even
So-
for the experience.
So this is the question. I'm going to leave this with you, Timmy, when we go on as we keep going on here, though. You spend your time scouting these guys all over the place. So when you look at Bedard, they have this thing about his defensive game that he doesn't play at 200 foot. I know he's not as strong. He's stronger this year on the faceoffs than he was last year. And people are praising Celebrini. I'm curious your take on Bedard's 200-foot game, because this year, to me, he's a beast out there now. And I think he's a dog on a bone in back checking even, which I didn't see that last year or the year before. So I'd be curious to hear your take on that.
And look at the lines mate he's playing with. It's, no offense to them, but he's making it work with the players he has. And look at the team when he was injured versus when he was in. They're much more successful. So he's really grown his game.
Could you imagine McDavid, throw Tom Wilson on the right and put Connor Bedard on his left wing to shoot the puck in?
Yeah. The thing that worries me about Canada is that I worry about too much passing rather than too much shooting. Now, McDavid has come out recently. I think he talked about how the media asked him to shoot more, so he did shoot more, or he's trying to shoot more. But again, like a lot of these players, their hockey IQ is so high, they want to make a play first, which is understandable. So it'll be interesting to see.
Be good.
I want to see. My dream is just one shift, McDavid with Crosby in the middle and McKinnon to the other side. Just let them run rapid, and then Taze and Makar in the back, and just go rampant. See what happens. It would be beautiful.
Well,
I think it's going to feed families. So I love
that.
it.
That's the power play almost outside of days. So
yeah. Now you wanted to talk about the CHL, including the OHL. Go ahead.
The AHL. Yeah, guys. So just a quick a note, because not everyone's familiar with junior hockey and the major junior in the Canadian Hockey League, CHL. So that means the Ontario Hockey League, all three make it up, the WHL and the QMJHL. So they need to finalize their rosters and send down players. Remember we talked in the USHL how they made this transfer and they had to get it done in a certain period of time with an opening to get Tynan Lawrence over to Boston University to play for the. So in the same concept, if they're going to send players down to a lower level, as junior or even a U18 AAA, they need to do it by January 10th. That means they've only got a few days. They got to get it done by this weekend here. So that's when rosters are locked for the remainder of the season. So if you've been noticing movements, it's about to end. So expect in the next couple of days any of those movements to happen. The other news, I had to bring this up. And so Zilcher knows what I'm talking about because we had this conversation. She follows quite a bit with the American Hockey League team of the Detroit Red Wings, and that is the Grand Rapids Griffins. Very, very key point here. They are a historic AHL juggernaut this year. So they are the affiliate of the Detroit Red Wings. They are dominating this year. They have, at least as of the last game I caught on my numbers, a plus 67 goal differential, like 121 goals and 54 against or something. They're commanding lead in the Central Division. This hot streak, it is a full-blown assault, Pawel, on the league. And while they're outscoring opponents by massive margins, they are maintaining still their elite play, even though they're way ahead at both ends of the ice. So that's pretty impressive. And can I just say, Sebastian Cossa, just like Jesper Wallstedt, everyone thought that, oh, no, he's not very good last year or the year before after the draft. Well, Cossa, he's only 23 years old. He is their goaltender in Detroit of the future. He's anchoring that crease. Remember, he's 6'7", 220 pounds, and he's got some stellar numbers, man.
I enjoyed watching him with the Oil Kings. He was really fun.
He was. Do you remember? And he won them their only Memorial Cup too.
Yeah, and that was the team with Caden Gooley. And who was the other one? He plays for
Jake Neighbors.
Yeah.
And so, by the way, keep your eyes open, okay? For in Grand Rapids, I have a feeling you might be looking this year or next at Dan Watson. Okay, he's in his third year as a coach. I actually think that he could be a coach that's on the rise. So just keep your ears open over the next while.
For sure. And I just wanted to note that in the AHL, Alexei Kosalov, the goalie for the Philadelphia Flyers, he's currently with the Lehigh Valley Phantoms. He's been on a remarkable run in the last little bit. He's got a record of 9-8-1 with a 2.5 goals against average and a 9-10 save percentage with 2 shutouts. He stopped in 1 week 60 of 61 shots, including a 3-point shutout and a 6-1 win on his birthday. So happy birthday when he did that. He's going to be representing his country at for the Belarus, I believe, for the Olympics. So great for him. You're seeing a lot of players.
You mentioned that, but Belarus isn't in the Olympics because they've been banned. No.
Oh, not sorry. Is it that one? Then not sorry. I mistook that. I'm thinking of somebody else.
No, that's okay. I was just checking on that one though. That's all.
There was somebody. There's a lot of AHL players. I was reading through the notes of who are going on to play for the Olympics, especially given that they play in the AHL, right? Because a lot of these countries need representation.
Maybe it was Latvia or something like that.
Could be. Let me.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not a big deal. We can bring back. You can post it on Facebook and X, and we'll give everybody an update on that one.
For sure.
All right. One last thing you want to update us on the round.
Jaydlin Spooner, a former NHLer, played for Vancouver, played for Edmonton, played for the Rangers, among some other teams. His contract was canceled or terminated with the Shanghai Dragons, making him a free agent. So he's going to be reporting to Switzerland. That's the team with the really cool logo video that they had this year, and former head coach in the NHL, Gerard Gallant. So watch for him to make a splash in the Swiss League. And that's essentially been around the rink. Sorry, and it was other players that were showing up to Denmark and Latvia, but he just has had a good AHL go in the last little bit. So he was named first star of the week, I believe.
That's awesome, eh?
I apologize. That was my error. Go ahead. You wanted to wrap up with some hockey history, or is there anything else before we wrap up with hockey history?
Other than that, man, there's a lot of hockey going on, guys, and we got a lot happening. So definitely keep your ears open. Follow us. Maybe let everyone know where they can follow us before we close out here.
For sure. We are here every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on Facebook, YouTube. Give us a follow and subscribe. We're putting out content regularly on X/Twitter and on Instagram. We are also have a website with regular articles going up, whether it's the Boston Bruins weekly updates or something around the league, as well as former guests who have been on the show, which we greatly appreciate for. And we want to thank our sponsors that Evan already touted at the beginning of the show. We appreciate all of them. You guys are great. And if you want to partner with us, please reach out to us because we'd love to work with you and talk all things hockey. All right, Evan, we're going to wrap up with a little hockey history.
Good. Hockey history, guys, brought to you by the Pro Hockey Group with head owner and head director of it. That is Jason Bacala, former director of scouting for the Florida Panthers, who brought Barkov in and Ekblad and you name it and helped build their team early on. Listen, guys, I'm going to talk to you today in hockey history about the night the Unbeatables got beat. You're like, what are you talking about, Evan? Listen, I want you to picture this. It's January 7th. 1980. Get it? I found a date, which is today, and it was the Philadelphia Flyers, who were known as the Broad Street Bullies. They were reborn, and they roll into Bloomington, Minnesota. For you North Star fans, you'll remember that name well. Riding the longest unbeaten streak in North American pro sports history. We're talking they went 35 games without a loss. Imagine that. So 25 wins and 10 ties, by the way, because they didn't have the overtime losses, spanning almost 3 months. And they hadn't tasted defeat, the Flyers, the Broad Street Bullies, since October. And the world was buzzing. So let's face it, right? The Flyers are invincible. You're playing the Minnesota North Stars. And so they were excited coming out of Buffalo. The Met Center is absolutely electric in Bloomington. A sellout crowd of 15,962. It was the biggest in North Stars history up to that point. They packed it in and they were ready to party. Now, I got to break this down for you guys because the Flyers come right out and they strike first. Bill Barber, there's a name from the past. He pots one just 3 minutes and 49 seconds into their 2-1-0 lead. And you could hear the collective groan, essentially, from the Minnesota fans. But, boom, the North Stars explode. 7, get it? Count them. 7 unanswered goals from 7 different scorers. I remember, if you're a Flames fan, and I know we got a lot of Flames fans, remember Mike Eaves? He was one of them on the power play. Greg Smith, Steve Payne, they make it 3-1. Then Craig Hartsburg, here's another guy that was out there. Mike Polish, right? They just pile on in the second. And Bobby Smith, another great, who went on to play in Washington. He was another one. Final score, Philadelphia 1, Minnesota North Stars 7. It was a total demolition. And now, this is the part that I find interesting. And Zell, this is probably not your thing, so you might want to close your ears. But it gets juicier behind the scenes. Jordan, Robert, you'll love this. Pawel, you'll love this. They are the Broad Street Bullies, and we're not talking about just tough and gritty and afraid to drop the gloves, but they get frustrated and they get mean. So guys like Kenny Linsman and John Paddock, they're trying to spark fights left and right and shoving. The bench clears in a massive scrum on the end. And North Stars coach, his name was Glenn Sommer. I don't even know who the guy was when I looked it up. He is so fired up, he has to be physically restrained from going after the ref because he's so mad. And all they were doing is just screaming about the dirty play that was on the ice at that time. Listen, Minnesota crowd erupted and they started chanting, "Go home, Flyers, go home." And then they flipped it to, "We're number 1." because they beat the 35th Street. Guys, it was pure chaos. It was a time to behold. And it was a history of the Minnesota North Stars when they humbled the Unstoppables and Flyers coach Pat Quinn back in the day, and they took them out. It was the day the Unbeatables were beat, and that's hockey history.
Awesome. That's some great information. And I did want to just mention, because it was mentioned by Timu earlier, that Glenn Hall has passed away as of just recently today, I believe.
Oh,
in a Stony Point hospital in Alberta. He was 94. So former Hall of Famer, 552 consecutive starts by the goaltender, 10 of 18 of his seasons with the Chicago Blackhawks. He was known Mr. Goalie. Had a record of 407, 326, 164, and a 2.5 GAA and 84 shutouts, total ranking 4th of all time. So our thoughts and condolences go out to his family. It's never easy. We apologize. We're just losing so many greats right now in the game of hockey.
It's tough when you get older too, right? You get older, you start seeing the ones that you idolized as a kid growing up when you were playing hockey out in the ponds and the rinks and the streets and the arenas, you know.
That made you fall in love with the game. And so,
yeah, exactly.
But on that note, and there's no easy transition for that, we are ending our show. We thank you again for tuning in. We are excited to be back again. Wednesday nights, we will be back here next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Lots of hockey news to get to, lots to discuss. We're looking forward to having a few more guests that we are planning out, guys. So tune in. We've got a busy few 6 months, Evan, because not only do we have the remainder of the season, we have the postseason, and then we have your favorite, the draft.
Woo!
And after that, we take a hiatus. But in the meantime, we will be here to update you on all things hockey. So give us a follow. Evan's on Revenev on Twitter /X, and I'm hockey_2. We like talking all things hockey. It's been good banter. Try to be respectful. But that's it on my end. Any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Guys, it's been a ring-a-ding-dong-dandy in the famous words of the old Ed Whalen. And I'd like to say, in the meantime and in between time,
keep your sticks on the ice. Stay safe. Have a good night, guys. Cheers.